Hello friends, today I am going to talk about a very important piece, of every office. Summer season has already knocked our doors, so as electrical fire hazards. The office setups, which has old electrical setups, tend to have more electrical fire hazards, than any new office. As you all know that every office has an electrical room, and this is a place where you accumulate all your electrical setup, fixtures, fittings and XYZ things. Barring few majority of offices which do not have even fireproof infrastructure there and follow reactive approach, right? So like we always say that electrical consumption cost contributes to approximate 40% of your overall operational expenditure. Same ways, it contributes to 25% of overall your fit out cost of any new office setup, right? You must be aware of that. So this is not a small number, but we do not pay much attention to this very important and crucial aspect, right? Even though we know that this area should have restricted entry for all the office staff, barring few who are actually authorized to check or inspect or repair these setups, but we still follow the casual approach towards it, which should not be the case, right? You must be aware or maybe vouch for a very basic fact that whenever there is a fire in any office setup, it is always very difficult to ascertain the root cause of the fire. You all must have seen in your career, maybe in your existing office or in your previous office, that whenever there was a fire, you appoint, you call the fire brigade, and you appoint some electrical vendor or maybe auditor who comes and checks and audits the entire case and then finds out the root cause of the fire, and which is very difficult to ascertain. Most of the cases, that due to short circuit the fire has occurred, right? Now how does this happen? These things happen primarily due to, one, you do not maintain your electrical setup and electrical panel for a long time. So there is no maintenance actually of the electrical setup. Once the electrical setup is done, you tend to forget that. You believe that it will work automatically, right? Which should not be the case. Second point, the staff do not follow the safety measures, which is very, very important. See, one miss can lead to a fire. Understand? Third point, electrical fixture and fittings not synced with your load, that is unbalanced load on RYB, okay, phases, servo running on bypass mode, improper or irrational heat load in the office, etc. Why I'm saying so? Because in the so what happens, let's say your office is 2 years old, and initially when you set up the office, you had ascertained that there's a requirement of 20 kilowatt of load. Over a period of 2 years, there is an increase in the staff, increase in the equipments like ACs, your printers, your monitors, desktops, laptops, etc. And your people have let's say increased to almost 40 to 50%, right? So do you think that the initial heat load or the initial electrical load that you have ascertained for your office is capacitized to handle the additional 40-50% additional heat load? No. So you need to actually get the heat load calculation done at a regular intervals, right? Fourth point, untrained technician operates your electrical panel and electrical setup. Sometimes what happens, whenever there is an emergency, instead of calling your authorized or approved service provider or vendor, you call a local electrician for a temporary issue, right? If he is not trained enough, he may goof up, right? So please always remember that you should hire a trained electrician in case you want to hire it locally, or else you should always call your authorized vendor, right? Next point is inadvertent action towards switching off the electrical fixtures and fittings over the long week end, resulting into electrical fire. Let me give you a very small example that you have a branch and there's a long weekend. Let's say you close the branch on Friday and there's a long weekend of Saturday and Sunday which is off, okay, and you switch on your exhaust fan of the washroom or maybe the UPS room or the cupboard, right, sub-room cupboard. You switch on the exhaust fan and keep it running for next 2 days to actually get the heat load out, right? But what happens, in the continuous running of 48 to 72 hours, the exhaust fan may get burnt. The exhaust fan may attract a short circuit. And imagine your office is closed and there's a short circuit. What will happen? The entire thing may go for a toss, right? So that's why we say that inadvertent actions towards switching off the electrical fixtures and over the long weekend, so that results into electrical fire. Next point is you forget to ensure safety parameters such as your exhaust fan, mud buckets, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, fire alarm systems and all, right, which may indicate that there is a fire. Do not consider it as important aspect of your routine office life. If you do not consider that these are the important aspects of your routine office life, then my dear friend, there may be a case that you tend to lose grip over it, right? So do not take it lightly. Next point, accumulation of waste material in the electrical room or convert storeroom into a dump yard. You all know that there is a space crunch in the office over a period of time, right? You store your stationery, your marketing collaterals and XYZ things, because since there is no storeroom in your office, so what you do, you tend to store that material in your electrical room, which is maybe a cupboard at times, which may be a room at times, right? And you forget that dumping that stationery or marketing collaterals or any other stuff in the electrical room may cause fire, right? Next point is underrated electrical wires and other accessories, usage of low grade electrical material while doing the office fit out. Do not ever compromise on the quality and brand of the electrical wires and electrical setup and electrical material, because it may lead to again fire. Always buy branded and good quality material for the electrical setup at least. Next point is, last but not the least, is negligence. Do not ever neglect any of the incident or any of the root cause or any of the small aspect which may cause fire, right? Remember that any callous approach towards electrical setup leads to any mishap and chaotic and emergency situation someday. Always be vigilant, always be alert, while doing or setting up the office or maintaining the office, that you do regular intervals checks and upgradation of your electrical setup, right? Always get the heat load calculation done every year and always get the electrical panel or electrical room setup check, inspect at regular intervals. Have a safe and healthy working environment. I would like to thank you for listening to me, watching to me. My name is Manoj Goyal. Please subscribe my channel in case you have not done so far, and share it with your friends, because this is a very important piece of information that I have shared with you today. Thank you so much. Have a safe working environment. Thank you.